So guys, welcome to another episode of Paul's Asian Adventure. Hey, in this episode, I wanted to discuss a sad situation that is happening in the Philippines right now. So there's a sad situation happening in the Philippines right now. And I want to try to understand why this is happening. So one thing I've really started noticing these last few months are that the amount of foreigners that have lived in the Philippines that have decided to leave or have already left has grown dramatically. Even some vloggers are talking about leaving the Philippines for other countries in Southeast Asia and some to South America and Europe. So I've tried to thought about it and put together some reasons why people are leaving the Philippines, why these vloggers that have been here for so many years are leaving the Philippines, and why in general the direction is out of the Philippines rather than into the Philippines. So if any of you watching this video are planning to leave the Philippines and that have been living here for a while, I would love to interview you. So far, everyone I've approached about this topic has said a blank no. So if you are one of those, again, leaving the Philippines, I'd love to set up an interview. Even if you're not in the Philippines, we can put it on Zoom. So with that, let's get into it. So many of these points I have personally covered in other videos, but putting it all together after speaking to several expats makes me understand the depths of which the Philippines is actually losing out to the competition, i.e., places like other places in Southeast Asia like Thailand, Malaysia, Cambodia, Indonesia, and other countries in Southeast Asia. The first point that I'd like to emphasize of why people are leaving is the cost of living. I have covered this in another video more in detail, but I will go through it kind of shallow here. That many of the expats that have lived here, they were used to being in the Philippines and living here dirt cheap. While of course the quality of life was thereafter, however, the prices have risen dramatically in the last years. As previously mentioned, discussed in another video that I will put a link to in the description as well as up here. Now there used to be that you could see tons of videos in the Philippines of vloggers talking about living as a king for less than $1,000 a month, US dollars that is. Of course, at the time, I knew it was BS. Most vloggers knew it was BS. You could live a comfortable life on $1,000. And I mean pretty comfortable, go out to restaurants, coffee shops, have a nice condo, and so on. Now, on $1,000, you are barely surviving. But it's not just the cost of living, i.e. the rent, the food, restaurants, coffee shops, transportation that have gone up excessively. It's also the cost of women. Now, what do I mean by that? Basically, the expectations of women have skyrocketed due to the internet. They are more demanding, less innocent, less feminine, on average, of course. As I have pointed out many times, there are still many wonderful women here in the Philippines, but they are getting harder and harder to find. Then, of course, there are the many men who have been scammed badly, and I mean badly. Have been scammed badly in their relationship, and their dream of paradise has turned into basically a nightmare from hell. Remember that you cannot own land here, and so many Filipinas have used this to scam expats. That this continues today is beyond me, as it is common knowledge, but this is the nature of weak men, i.e. simps. Of course, there is much more I could say about the cost of living, but I won't. As again, I have covered this on another video, and the link will be in the description. To all my viewers and subs, as you probably know, it takes an effort to make these videos. I ask you if you could subscribe, and most important, share these videos, as they are information that maybe other people need and also it would help my channel grow. Thank you. Now on with the video. Then there is, of course, one of the most important elements when you are getting old, and that is healthcare and hospitals here in the Philippines. To cut right to the chase, Philippines has healthcare that is way, and I mean way below the average in the West, and worse than other countries in Southeast Asia, such as Thailand and Malaysia and Vietnam. All of them have better, and for the most part, cheaper healthcare. So some of these expats leaving are starting to get past 70 and are understanding that if something bad happens, such as a minor heart attack, they don't stand a chance to survive here. 2 vloggers that I followed died due to slow access to the hospital and incompetent healthcare. The incompetency starts in the ambulance, to the check-in, to equipment, to the lack of urgency, and so on. This is according to the people I have spoken to that know these vloggers that died. So anyone with any type of health issue that would require urgent care should not be here in the Philippines. You are risking your life big time if you are here and have healthcare issues. Then there is the food. Many vloggers have spoken about the lack of variety of foods here, the uncontrolled use of pesticides, and other issues of food supply here in the Philippines. Of course, they have laws and regulations and all kinds of stuff here in the Philippines. But ask yourself, are they really following these rules? If no one is even enforcing traffic laws, who on earth is enforcing the use of pesticides? I spoke to a girl who actually works on a farm, and she told me they use a lot of pesticides. I asked her if anyone controls it from the government, and she just laughed. So yeah, of course, no one can prove cause and correlation. However, personally, as a health-conscious person, this is one of the things that I worry about living here in the Philippines. Before I continue, I want to ask my subs, are you thinking about leaving the Philippines? If so, comment why you are leaving. What was it that made you leave? And if you're up for a call on cam, let me know. And of course, last but not least are the women. Let's just be honest. 90+% of the guys who come out here come for the women. If women looked and acted like women in the West, most men would leave the Philippines. That's just the truth. Anyone who tells you otherwise is selling you BS. And that is fine. People move where the fish are plenty and taste wonderful. However, as mentioned in other videos, the lake that was pure is getting polluted by something we call social media. It's seeping into the veins of the lake and polluting every fish it touches. I have been coming to the Philippines since the end of 2005. And to be honest, I am shocked how their conservative values have almost vanished. On top of that, the physical look of Filipinas has degraded considerably, with so many girls getting fat and are fat and obese. I'm currently in Dumaguete and I have never seen so many fat Filipinas in my life. What is happening? Why is this happening? Is this the influence from the West? Guys, please comment and let me know what your theories are. Are we heading to the same fatness level as in the West? I've also put here a graph from 2022 that shows the percentage of fat and obese women here in the Philippines. And that is 2022. And the situation today, I would say, is considerably worse. I don't have statistics for that because I can't find any, but just from a visual, from walking around, to me, the situation is much worse. If I was going to guess, I would say that it has risen by 10 to 20%. So in the end, women in general, or on average, are getting more entitled and less desirable here in the Philippines. In essence, you are paying more for less. Of course, not anything close to what is in the West, but expats have alternatives in Southeast Asia, such as Thailand, Cambodia, Malaysia, Indonesia, and others that have lower cost of living, sometimes considerably lower cost of living, as well as higher quality when it comes to almost all aspects of living. Most of the people I know have actually moved to Thailand, Cambodia, and Europe. Just to mention, all those who moved to Europe are married. As we all know, the situation in the West with the women is almost impossible, so they took with them a wife to the West. Security and safety is of concern also, as this, in my opinion, has deteriorated considerably since 2022. In safety, I include crime as well as safety on the streets when driving. Basically anything that can injure you or kill you. As mentioned in several other videos, the dangers of driving here has gotten out of hand due to a dramatic increase in cars and trucks, as well as little to no enforcement of traffic rules. Then on top of that, crime has increased as well, due again to lack of enforcement in laws on the book as well as desperation. The increase in pay here in the Philippines has not kept up with inflation, and in a poor country as the Philippines is, this can be catastrophic. Having said that, I feel safe in the Philippines, but safety has deteriorated. So to my subs and viewers, are you still considering moving to the Philippines after hearing this? Or maybe you have left the Philippines or are thinking of leaving. If so, as mentioned before, send me an email or send me a message and we can set up an interview. So with that, I'd like to thank you for watching. And if you haven't subbed, please sub and share this video.